I can't wait to share this peach cinnamon roll recipe with honey pecan cream cheese frosting and topped with candied pecans. In this video I share the cinnamon roll dough recipe that only requires one long rise and just an additional 15 to 20-minute rise after they are cut. I will also show you multiple frostings that we like. Some of us are not fans of cream cheese. I made a homemade peach pie filling. Store-bought is very good too. Set 2 eggs out. You don't want them cold. In a stand mixer, add 2½ teaspoons dry active yeast, 1 cup of warm milk, not hot, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Mix that some. Let rest just until you see that your yeast is blooming. While that's blooming, I combine 2³ cup flour, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon baking powder. Add 4 tablespoons of melted butter to the stand mixer with the yeast. You can use that same pot to melt 4 tablespoons of butter for the filling later on, 1 teaspoon of oil, and 2 eggs, 1/2 cup of sugar with a paddle attachment. Get those ingredients combined, then slowly add the dry ingredients. Make sure you scrape the sides so all dry ingredients are combined. Then switch to the hook attachment for 5 minutes on a low speed. After that, oil a bowl and cover it for 1½ hours. You can use a small can of any pie filling, or you can make pie fillings easily with whatever fruit you have. This is a loose dough. It's important to not add too much flour throughout the whole rolling process. Only add just enough flour so it won't stick. Here's the dough after rising. It was even higher, but my child checked on it and had to poke it, and it deflated a bit. Here I'm pouring the dough onto a lightly floured surface. I only need it about 10 times to help not incorporate too much flour, but I'm adding enough flour so it's workable and not sticking to the counter surface. As I'm kneading it, I'm trying to get it into a rectangular shape. I rolled it out to be 1/2 inch thick, every few seconds making sure there is just enough flour all over to prevent sticking. I melted 4 tablespoons of butter and spread that across the dough. I also combined 1/2 cup of brown sugar with 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. A lot of cinnamon roll recipes use much more sugar and butter, so that part can be adjusted some. I use my hands to spread the brown sugar and cinnamon. You can use a spatula or any utensil if you like. I also made a cherry pie filling. With the cherries I had in this filling part of the video, you will see me using half peach pie filling and half cherry pie filling. I left the ends just with the cinnamon and brown sugar, so I could have some plain cinnamon rolls as well. Next, I slowly start to roll up the cinnamon rolls, only adding flour underneath if it's sticking. And I'm using something to help lift the dough up. It only stuck in one spot though. Cleaned up excess flour. I cut the cinnamon rolls to about 1.5 inch thickness. I heavily greased a 13x9 cake pan with butter. I placed peach-filled ones on the left and cherry-filled on the right. I also had 3 plain ones that I squeezed between those. They were not as big as the others. I let these sit in the pan for 15 to 20 minutes while the oven preheats. Preheat the oven to 350. Bake for 15 to 20 minutes until light golden brown on top. While those are baking, I quickly mix up the 2 frostings I make. The first is just a basic buttercream. It's enough for the whole pan. 3 tablespoons softened butter, 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of milk. This is the cream cheese I used. It is already a little sweet, so I used less sugar for the pecan cream cheese frosting. I made enough for 3 of the cinnamon rolls, so I would adjust this and multiply by 4 to have enough for the whole pan if you prefer a cream cheese. It's 2 tablespoons cream cheese, 1/3 cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of milk, always adding milk at the end. If you like your frosting sweeter or thicker, add more powdered sugar. This first one is a cherry one. I will open each kind for you so you can see how it looks inside. This is one without fruit. I think without the fruit, it needed a little more of the brown sugar cinnamon filling. It was enough though and very delicious. Next I'm topping a peach-filled one with the cream cheese, honey pecan frosting. I put way too much, so I took a little off. Then I topped it with some homemade candied pecans. This was probably the best cinnamon roll I have ever had. Tell me why I have never had a cinnamon roll with peaches in it. It makes so much sense. There was plenty of peaches in this. I only used the peaches for my filling. It was plenty for half of these cinnamon rolls. I think I needed more cherries though, but it was still a good amount. I will make more cherry filling next time. Overall, peach filling was the best. And last but not least is the star of the show, the peach filled with cream cheese and candied pecans. Sorry the whole thing isn't in the frame, but here's how this one looks. Family rated 11 out of 10. Best cinnamon rolls I have ever made. Please subscribe you guys and let me know if you tried these.